Here in our audience, a man who says the court shouldn't make marriage policy for the country. Ryan Anderson is the author of What is Marriage? Man and Woman, a Defence. Ryan, why are you so opposed to gay people getting married?
You know, I'm not really opposed to anything in this situation. I think that marriage exists to bring a man and a woman together as husband and wife, to be mother and father to any children their union produces. And that the Supreme Court in the cases that they're hearing today and tomorrow should really not cut short the democratic debate that we're having. Citizens all across the country right now are discussing what marriage is and why it matters. And what we want to see the court do today and tomorrow is uphold our constitutional authority to have that debate and to pass laws about marriage.
Okay, but when I asked the question, why are you opposed to it, I assumed you're opposed to it. Are you saying you're not opposed to it? Are you in favour of gay marriage?
I'm in favor of having the citizens have the authority to go to the ballot box and vote about marriage. And when they go to the ballot box...
Now you sound like a politician.
Well, I want them to vote for marriage between a man and a woman. I think that's what marriage is.
Let's keep this simple. Are you in favour or against gay marriage?
I'm in favor of marriage between a man and a woman.
So you're against gay marriage?
I don't like phrasing it that way, but you can phrase it that way.
Well, there's no other way of phrasing it. You're either in favour of it or you're not.
It's like saying you're against a square circle. I'm in favor. I think what marriage is a union of a man and a woman.
Do you believe that because, as many argue, it's to do with procreation? That basically the reason a man and a woman should be allowed to marry rather than a man and a man or a woman and a woman is to do with their ability to procreate?
I don't think it's only that. I think what it's built upon is the truth.
Is that part of it?
That's part of it. It's based on the truth that men and women are different and complementary, and that the act that unites a man and a woman is the same act that creates a new life. And the reality that a child has a mother and a father, and marriage is the institution that helps incentivize the mother and the father that created the child to commit to each other and then to care for that child.
So would you ban everyone over the age of 50 from getting married?
No, I mean, that was a great question that was asked today during oral arguments. And the response is that...
But it is a great question.
It's a great question. There's a great response.
People over 50, men and women, they can't procreate. So do they get banned?
Men are fertile. Most men are fertile throughout the entirety of their lives.
But a woman over 50 is unlikely to procreate.
Right. So the marital norm still helps, because if the man is faithful to his wife, he's not creating fatherless children. Government's not interested in regulating my love life. Everyone's free to live and to love as they choose. Government's interested in the marital relationship because the unions of men and women can create kids.
What about prisoners? At the moment, under your logic, prisoners have a fundamental right to get married, even if they're in prison and can't actually have sex with anybody.
Yes, there's a...
But you would rather defend a prisoner's right to get married than you would Suze Orman's right to get married to her partner.
Yep, so the Supreme Court looked at these cases about the fundamental right...
Is your answer to that question yes?
The Supreme Court looked at these cases about the fundamental right to marry for prisoners, and they understood, again, because what marriage is a union of a man and a woman, prisoners have that same right, partly because they come out of jail, and they still have lives. It's not as if once you go into jail, you're there forever.
But do you understand
and they can still carry on relationships.
Right, but Ryan, do you understand why I feel, especially with Suze sitting here, an incredibly successful American business icon who's been in a 12-year relationship with a woman she loves very deeply. I find it extraordinary that you, as a fellow American, would be quite happy to see a prisoner's rights upheld to get married, and you'd be quite happy to have a principle which says it's about procreation, even if people are 60 or 70-year-old and can't procreate if they're women. But you don't want Suze to have the right to marry the woman she loves. I find that bizarre, but I want you to explain to her what's wrong with her.
I don't think there's anything wrong with you.
But you don't want her to have the same rights as you.
All Americans have the right to live and to love how they choose to. And we don't need government redefining marriage to make that a reality.
But if Suze wants to get...
In all 50 states...
If Suze wants to get married, though, you don't want her to have the same right as you to do that. Who is you to say that? I mean, with the greatest will in the world and the best respect, and I understand you're not the only person in America who feels this, it's a polarizing issue, even though it's moving very fast, as you know, in the polls in favor of same-sex marriage. But I just find it odd that you want a certain right for you, but you don't want to afford it to someone like Suze.
I want the right to marry to be for everyone. The question is, what is marriage? I think that marriage is intrinsically, what it is a union of a man and a woman, a husband and a wife, a mother and a father. But I think all adults should be free to live and to love as they choose. They can join a religious community that will perform a wedding. In all 50 states, this is legal. They can join a place of employment that will give them marriage benefits. In all 50 states, that's legal. You don't necessarily need the government calling your adult relationship a marriage to live and to love how you want to.
Susie, I've
Haven't I
heard,
been
right?
good? I was
You
really
haven't said a
silent. I was really silent there.
What are you really feeling right now? Because this is the debate laid bare. This is a guy sitting a few feet away from you who says, nope, I don't want people like you to be able to have the same right to get married as people like him.
I have to tell you,
That's what it boils down to.
I feel compassion for you. And I'll tell you why. Because I know that you believe very strongly what you believe. But I also know that you're very, very uneducated in how it really, really works. That you say, you know, and I believe from the bottom of my heart that if you really, really understood why the government does need to get involved,